Hey guys, welcome to the stream space. We are here for a momentous occasion. You might recognize that symbol at the end there. We are here to unbox the Steam Deck. The Steam Deck is basically Valve's answer to the Switch, and kind of making their own game console out of some pretty high-end AMD hardware. So we're gonna pop this bad boy open. I'm ridiculously excited for it. It was technically supposed to be here on Friday, but because of the holiday here, I'm in Canada, so this was our Thanksgiving weekend. It decided that they would delay it by like the entire weekend, so I didn't get it until roughly 2 o'clock today. So we're gonna pop this bad boy open, and we're not gonna waste too much time talking about it, but I mean, it is a very impressive looking little system from the videos. Now let's take a look in real time. Okay, so here's some sheepy info that you guys don't necessarily need to see. Got my cute little blue knife here. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I noticed something on a video that I watched previously. So I'm going to show you this, and I'm going to actually kind of explain what they're saying. So somebody was like, "Oh, this looks like a bunch of words in a bunch of different languages." Actually, if you look closely, I'll find one. Here's an example on the subway. So like it's phrases of like just where you would use this thing. I would think anywhere, quite frankly, but you know, let's okay, so we'll kind of go through. We're going to open it this way so you guys can actually see what's going on here. So it comes with this little slide, kind of some base get started instructions, which they are plug in and power on. And that's kind of like the only two they really give you. I got my puppy coming to say hi. Hi, buddy. Hi, dude. Okay, in here, in this lovely package, this is your charging brick. So nothing crazy, just a charging brick. They use the USB-C. And a cool feature about these guys is that you can actually dock them to a TV with any powered dock, so you don't necessarily need to buy the Steam dock. You can buy one of the higher-end Anchor ones and run it to your TV, and then you'll still get the same experience. And they're compatible with Steam controllers, meaning you can run a Steam controller to it, plug it into your TV, and it's basically a PC version of the Switch. You know, so it's nice and handy. It's exactly what I think computer games needed for me to get me more into it. I even bought a bunch of extra games that were on sale. Like I bought the Yu-Gi-Oh! It's like Legacy of the Duelist, and it's got like it's kind of a game that starts off and like you get to play the card game through the series. So you get to play through different parts of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TV show. So that's pretty cool. So base order. This is just to preface this. This is the base model. So this is a 64 gig base model. That doesn't sound like a lot, but when you throw an SD card into that, I mean, it really doesn't matter, right? You pop an SD card in, and you can get like 512 or a terabyte of space added in just by having an SD card. So I like having the OS on one, and the SD card contains the games. So that's how it goes. So anyways, there's that. Excuse me. And the plastic is not open on... Oh, here we go. I don't have to rip and tear. I'm not Doom Guy. Can't take his job. Okay. Also, you know, we haven't done a ton of videos this week, and this is our week for kind of getting back on track, so we will be doing a show. We will have done shows by the time you see this video, but just sorry we've been a little bit away and kind of not really into it these days. There's a little plastic loop on here that stops it from opening properly because they've got lock loops. So you can actually lock this container if you really wanted to. Show you what I mean. So there's little rings here that you can line up. Yeah, so like that. Yeah, we're gonna just kind of keep doing this as nicely as we possibly can. We don't need to wreck and rip and tear this stuff and destroy it to get the guy out of the package. Okay? Okay, here comes the main moment of truth. This is the one, the most important one. Okay, so pop that. Whoa! She's big. Damn, she's thick. She don't feel thick, though. Like, she's got heft. Don't get me wrong. But, you know, it's reasonable heft. Programmable buttons on the back here. You can actually, like, they don't stick out badly. So, like, you're not going to accidentally hit them. Like, you push them down, and you actually have to put effort into it. So, like, you're not going to accidentally push them down when you're trying to do something in the game. Okay, so let's take a really good look at this. So, yeah, there's those back buttons I was just talking about. These are triggers. They're pressure sensitive. They don't just immediately go down. You can slowly push them down. There's bumper buttons. You got some... Oh, hi, puppy. Some volume controls. I think, yeah, it's volume controls, headphone jack, and they let you put a standard headphone jack. USB-C connector and power. And there's your SD card slot right there. Now for the goods. This is the gloss version of it. So, okay. And then you got these analog sticks, which I gotta say, they feel really nice, and they do click down. So lots of button options, lots of ways to customize the experience here. These are gyro, like kind of gyro touchpads that you can use to, instead of the, you know, analogs, if these are what you want to use. Then your standard ABXY configuration. Looks like a menu button. Another hamburger menu button. Don't know what that one does. Then you got, I'm not sure, this looks like a screen flip button. So like if you push it, it should put the screen out or something. D-pad and the other screen. Now, Now, we're probably going to break away so we can do some basic setup because, to my understanding, you can't just power it on. You have to connect it to the internet, let it run updates and stuff like that. And then from there, it'll download games that you tell it to after you connect it to your Steam account. So we're going to drop away for a moment to get some of this set up so that you guys can actually check it out. And I don't know if we can really reasonably test how powerful it is. I really use my Steam for old school games, so I guess we'll find out. But, I mean, like, the cool thing about this system is that you can actually flip it over to Windows if you really want to, and that gives it a little bit of extra life, extra use, because you can actually now, at that point, load in other launchers like Blizzard and Epic, and then you can start playing the games off of those, like Warzone, and I don't think you can play WoW effectively, quite frankly. Excuse me. So, anyways, we're going to punch off so we can go do the charging and whatnot, but we'll be right back. Okay, guys. Now, I said we'd be right back, but what I should have said is that we are going to actually, like, spend some time with this game system and actually test it out. So, what I can say is that I did that, and I was not disappointed. So I spent roughly a month. So it's been about a month since we actually like got it and were able to open it and everything. And I'm blown away by this system. It is absolutely phenomenal. What I can tell you is that as far as power goes, it absolutely has it. It can play modern games without a single problem. It can play old school games, and its penchant for emulation is amazing. So I'm going to show you guys some of that stuff. Probably not going to get too into playing any games on it right this second, but like what I can tell you is like it's actually pretty damn cool because you've got a built-in Linux OS. So it is built upon top of a Linux Steam OS. So you can drop into an actual computer operating system, and you can manipulate it as if it were a Linux computer, no problem. So that means you can install some things on it that are not what it comes with. So for example, you can install this program called EmuDeck. EmuDeck basically allows your Steam Deck to become an emulation station. It has pretty much all emulators built into it for N64, Game Boy, NES, SNES, I already said N64, GameCube, PS3, 360. Like, it can run all of them. Some require more tinkering than others, but for the most part, it is, throw and go, and you're done. Like, mind blown. Seriously, done. I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and I basically, after I got the EmuDeck like fully figured out, I emulated my entire ROM collection that I own physically because I wanted them all on there. So let's kind of get into it. So we're going to pop it out of its lovely case here. Now, just to give you guys a bit of a info here. Okay, so I have here, this is the Switch Lite, right? So this is my lovely Pokemon Switch Lite that I showed you guys the unboxing for. And I'm just going to put these guys side by side so you can see. It's Morbin time. It's not Morbin time. But you can see the size difference between these two guys. Like, the screen is practically double the size. Practically double the size. Freaking fantastic. It is, its game library is pretty phenomenal, obviously, for being a Steam Deck and being capable of playing games across various generations and, different, depends on the newness of the game, as it were. So, we pop this open. Oh, and even as we speak, I have Golden Sun running on this, no problem. We're going to save my quest because I haven't saved yet. Okay. Okay, so what I can say about that is, like, you kind of saw it, but its ability to emulate is phenomenal. I have played Black Mesa, Fallout New Vegas, GTA San Andreas, The Bureau, Half-Life 2, Halo Infinite multiplayer, Left 4 Dead 2. I've played Sonic Adventure 2, and on GameCube it had the surname Battle. Wolfenstein, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, I have played all these games on it, and they are all fantastic, but where it really shines for me is the ability to emulate my Nintendo collection that I want to bring with me. So, let's take a look. Okay, we're gonna really quickly give you guys a better look. Okay? Okay, so we got the various collections that I have across. NES, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Super Nintendo, N64, and Game Boy. I'm just going to find a way to quickly prop my phone up, because that's what I'm recording off of right now. It's not normally how I record. Okay, so we're going to go start with something easy. N64. GoldenEye, play. The sweetest thing about this is it does all the emulation control panel for you. So you don't have to screw with screen resolution or anything. What I can say about this is it also has phenomenal speakers. So we're at So as you can see, I played a few missions on this. I've gotten a pretty good amount of time into this, and it is pretty fantastic. Super smooth. Frame rates are actually better on this than they are on the original S64. It auto maps all the controls for me. Easy way to swap between systems. Then I can switch over to anything else I want to play. And I got a good collection here, and I own all of these on hard copy, by the way. Pokemon Snap is the only one that's glitchy, because if there's sky in the picture, it won't actually score it for whatever reason, which I find strange. Pokemon Stadiums, Rush 2, Spider-Man, Super Mario 64, Rogue Squadron, which actually plays better than the Rogue Squadron on PC, I might add. Star Wars Racer, same concept. Super Smash Bros. Classic. Yoshi Story, Turok. Like, just being able to play these anywhere without having to ever turn your system away is fantastic. Now let's get into the battery life. I can't say... I haven't charged this for a good couple weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks ago-ish that I've charged it. I've used it on and on over over the last little bit, doing appointments and stuff for my son, and like just having something with me to do. I'll quickly show you the OS. Okay, so after you're in, hold your power button. If you don't know this already. Switching to desktop. Now your touchpad becomes a mouse. And now it's a computer. You got a desktop and everything. You know, you got your... So, like... Okay, so let's review. Let's go over everything we found here. First off, it is a large system, but you know what? For being as large as it is not that heavy. This is the base model, which actually has the... hold on here. I'm going to put it back in gaming mode. Okay, so yeah, let's review. It as far as consoles go, as handhelds go, I mean, you see there is a huge size difference between it and, like, say, a Nintendo Switch. Even a normal size Switch would still be smaller than this, screen-wise and total size-wise. Even with Pro Grips on, it is on the Switch. It is still a smaller system. That would be it switching to Steam mode. It's switching back to gaming mode. So it has two modes. It has desktop mode and gaming mode. You can switch between them as you need to. It's how you put Emu Deck on there in the first place. And so, yeah, that's the size-wise part. You know, it's a little bit bigger. It's a fair bit bigger than a Switch. It's got a little bit more weight, but it doesn't feel that way when you're, like, actually using it. Like, you don't really notice the weight so much. Its controls are extremely well done in terms of, like, where everything's placed, the quality of the analog sticks, like, all of it is really well done. Realize that I'm a little off center here. So, hardware-wise, like, I'm pretty okay with it, especially if this is just a first gen. Like, they're going to slim this down as time goes by. It has active cooling as well as passive cooling, so it has a fan. You will hear a fan underneath your hands. You'll hear the fan kick in when it's getting hot. And it works great because, I mean, if you're going to be playing more intensive games like Halo Infinite online and stuff like that, like, you don't lose frames because it's got a pretty good cooling system in it. But yeah, it's got the two touchpads. It's got the Steam menu button and then the kind of context menu. It's got a start button, a select button, which technically just lets you switch between apps and stuff. The two analog sticks, A, B, X, Y, left and right trigger, D-pad, and then it has these buttons underneath on each side. So you can map whatever you want to those, and then you can use those to kind of, like, I don't know, on GTA San Andreas, I can answer my phone with them. Now let's get into the games. The Steam games are always great because like you can have this massive library. Obviously, if they don't translate nicely to a controller, if they don't have controller support, you may have a harder time using this, but here's the next great part. There is a community that will help you maintain this device in terms of like playing games that weren't originally intended for it. So for example, with GTA San Andreas, if base command set for the keys, like the base key mapping, not that great. However, there was a community version of the control scheme that is mapped properly and set up right. So you can just switch over to that and continue playing. And the controls, for the one I'm using anyways, very much mimic the PlayStation 2. So L1, R1, left, down, right, up, and I now have my weapons unlocked. Anyways, so it's like the community is phenomenal. It makes playing games on this that weren't initially intended for it like super easy. So if you do have old school games that you play on your PC but you want to take them on the go, this is a good system to have because it will make it easier to play them on it by having that community. Playing higher end games like playing the 2017 Prey and Wolfenstein New Order, and those games play very nicely on it, and Left 4 Dead plays perfectly fine. Obviously that is an older game, but still it does play very nicely. Where it shines, as I did show you, is the emulation and the ability to sit down and pop open N64 games and play them anywhere that you are, and play them with minimal problems. All you have to do is remember that X is B and A is A. And you basically have your whole N64 controller mapped to the buttons that would logically be where they would be. So your analog stick doubles as your C buttons, for example, on the right. Your other stick is the center joystick that was in N64 controllers, so obviously that's what's going to move you around. Then you have the Z button, which is mapped to the left. And then, that's kind of where it stops, because that's all the buttons that controller had. But point is it maps that for you, and you don't have to think so hard on it. The SNES, Game Boy, and all those controls, NES and Game Boy basically have the same control scheme, so you can just, you don't even have to think about it. And SNES is a little bit different, but they try to make it so that the placement is basically the same, so you don't really have to worry too much. My point being is that emulation on this is ridiculously easy. So you've got your AAA brand new games, but then you've got your emulation. So you can play old and new, and you don't even have to restrict it to PC for the old. You can play all your console games and everything because they work. They will play. It's phenomenal. So, this is a review of the system, so I'm trying to be fair. What do I have complaints on? I don't know. I don't know if I have any. At this point, I think they did a fantastic job with this system. Like, the base model has 64 gigs of storage, and that's the one I bought. I went and bought a 256 gig memory stick to throw into it. I used a network drive to store my ROMs, and then I, used the OS on this to link it to that drive, pulled the ROM files in, put them where, opened up, installed EmuDeck, put everything where it belonged, and then loaded it. And then it even linked it into where my games in Steam are, so they show up alongside it in customized collections. So it's fantastic. Being fair, I think that if I had to take anything off it, if I had to reduce a point or anything, like I said, the weight of a first-gen system like this, it could be lighter. I don't know. This is the first one that's this is not a cloud gaming system. This is literally a game system. This is meant to take the games wherever you go. They are in the storage. They're not being played by your computer. They're being played by this device. So it's worth it. 100% worth it. So, all in all, we have a system that is, it's a great first gen in terms of hardware and design. Its specs are pretty damn decent. It can play modern games. It can play retro games. And It's got a wicked good screen size. The screen quality is actually fantastic. People are saying that the Switch screen quality is better, but I'd have to say I haven't played them side by side. I don't know if I actually agree with that. So that is what it is, and that's fine. That's totally fine. So yeah, I mean, full recap, we got good physical design, nice and light, great capabilities in terms of gaming, old and new. Really good storage for the base model. I mean, yeah, you might max it out after like 1 or 2 games, depending if you play big titles. But then if you throw a memory card in there, it's like, you've just got extra and you're good. I have no complaints about the system, and having that underlying operating system is fantastic for when you want to actually really manipulate it. The ability to dock it is also, for anybody who might have a question about that, like, what, do you have to have a Steam dock? No, you don't. You do not have to buy the Steam dock, but what you would want to buy if you do get a dock for it is something that has power. So a higher end one that is capable of perhaps, like for the example, the Anchor docks. Now, mind you, they are expensive. They're about $300, but they would make it so that, you can link this to a TV, link keyboard and mouse and everything to it, and then run it through that. And it's USB-C charging, so it charges fairly quick because its adapter is fantastic, but it also allows for data pass through, and you have good options in terms of docking. So if it's a USB-C dock, it'll video out to that and go put it out on your TV, and you're good to go. You're all set. So my overall review of this is, I'd say I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10, and the only place it loses some is on that weight, and I don't want to take a full point away from that, because this thing is like a dream gaming system. I could take this whole wall of games over here and just throw it into this thing, and away we go. Especially the PS2 games, I could easily do that with them. It's not a big deal. So I'm beyond satisfied with this game system, and I think anybody that buys one is going to be the same. So thank you for checking out this review. I hope it was informative, and I apologize if I seem a little scattered. Pretty severe ADHD, and it is very difficult for me to kind of keep things in order sometimes. So I went over my points a few times just to make sure I got all the info there. So again, thank you for checking out the stream space. I'm Pydera. You can find me over on YouTube, Pydera Space 74, over on Twitch, Pydera_74. And you can throw your likes, follows, subscribes in all the right places. So thank you for checking out the stream space, and I will see you guys next time.